When Raya and the Lost Dragon was released in 2021, it was the first time for a real representation of Southeast Asia in a Disney animated film. However, from information now known, there were fair examples of controversy within the film, from initial development to the portrayal or even lack of portrayal of true Southeast Asian culture from the film. But the speculative scenario is this: Raya and the Lost Dragon was a vague reference for Southeast Asian culture. Originally, there were plans to make the film about a specific country within the Southeast Asia region, to focus on the particular country and to represent the said country in a Disney animated film. But the main problem that were with early screenplays were that the particular fact is that mainland and maritime Southeast Asia are extraordinarily diverse, as it would have been unfair or illogical to technically depict a single country from the overall region, and to have Disney promote the film as representation for all of Southeast Asia and all of the Southeast Asian cultures or even peoples. These plans were from 2018 at roughly the earliest time. In 2020, Disney replaced various cast and crew for the related project and completely changed the concept for Raya and the Lost Dragon. The most drastic change for the said movie were, instead of the particular focus with the screenplay in terms of a particular country, the overall entire region of Southeast Asia would be vaguely referenced on details from every culture, and all of the history, all of the geography would be melded into a single imaginary nation that could be representative of everything in Southeast Asia. After the film's release, opinions of the feature were divided due to the vague aspects of the movie, and the animated depiction of Southeast Asia being so vague. The whole premise of a vague definition for Southeast Asia left many of Southeast Asian descent wanting more. Those who disliked the film mentioned particular details that, though men and women of Asian descent voiced the various characters from the movie, not all of these particular actors or actresses were what they seemed. Raya was voiced by Kelly Marie Tran, who was of Vietnamese descent. Opinions later emerged that if there were a specific country that would have been represented from Kumantra, it would have been Vietnam from her. Sisu was portrayed by Aquafina, who was of Chinese descent but infamously was known for using an African American style of speech for her depiction in television and film. Namari was voiced by Gemma Chan, a British citizen of biracial Hong Kong Chinese descent from her father and Scottish descent from her mother. The serpents, as mentioned from the film, were actually known as Naga from the cultures of Southeast Asia, but for a better understanding to non-Asian peoples when watching the film, the Naga were Anglo-Americanized with the term of dragons. The aspect of the plot with Kumantra being divided were interpreted as a political or social opinion of a post-colonial Southeast Asia, where peoples or nations which were historically united or cooperative with one another were now separated or even hostile to each other, and the overlaying feature of the movie was to reunite everything without ever questioning what truly needs to be done or why this needs to be done for an absolute unification for Kumantra's return. The arguments against such were that Southeast Asia was and still is an extraordinarily diverse region, and there were never any technically homogeneous people from a single culture or a single heritage. The fact that Kumantra was a single nation which fractured and remained semi-autonomous, with most of the Kumantran culture remaining intact with no major deviances over the course of centuries, were unrealistic for Southeast Asia before colonialism, during colonialism, or even after colonialism. These interpretations were some of the many reasons why Raya and the Lost Dragon wasn't technically considered to be a financial success in terms of a film, nor responded too well by those of Southeast Asian descent.